We are recording now. Okay, can we start?
Yeah, sure. Let's go.
Okay. So first of all, thank you very much, guys, for being part of MINODAY. I have to say that Mino is really happy right now to be not only to have closed the exclusivity agreement for your books, but also to be publishing these books, almost all of them for the first time in Brazil. I have to say that the reception to the books has been insanely good. I mean, not only in sales number, but on reviews, the fans are saying amazing stuff about the books. So yeah, thank you very much for this.
Oh, great.
Yeah, good.
Okay.
Love that question.
Okay, now let's start with the questions. Okay, first thing I want to ask something to you both. Crime is a genre that has such a long tradition in American comics, right? And you two have been making crime stories for more than 20 years now, right? And it looks
roughly.
like, yeah, more or less.
Yeah.
And it looks like you guys always find a way to make each story different from the previous one. What is it that you think that makes this genre so full of possibilities as a writer and also as an artist?
Well, it's interesting because crime comics had a huge like debut in American comics in like the late 40s through the mid 50s or so. But then since then, there's been very few of them. And, you know, I feel like there's probably at any one time only 3 or 4 like crime comics coming out. So I think, you know, that helps our books stand out a little bit in general, just because there's like 400 superhero comics and like 4 crime comics. But you know, when I started writing stories, I was just very attracted to writing from the point of view of like people who had done fucked up things that they regretted or made mistakes. That noir kind of decent person who crosses the line for love or for money or desperation or drug addiction or something. That story has always really appealed to me. And I feel like it's just a human story, you know, it goes all the way back to, I mean, it goes probably back to the beginning of literature. But yeah, I feel like each story is different because each one is about a different person, you know, and you see something in like Cruel Summer where you've got 5 or 6 different narrators throughout the story and they each want a different thing, you know, but they're all twisted around this crime story. So I just feel like, you know, crime is just basically like the human condition.
Got it. And you, Sean?
Well, I was never that much of a fan of crime stuff before Ed and I started doing it. All the essays and stuff we have in the back of our single issues, most of the things they talk about is all new to me. So it's been quite an education over the last 20 years. I've always liked the look of crime movies, like the black and white 30s, 40s movies. And that does tend to suit how I draw naturally anyway. I prefer to draw with lots of black on. So, you know, it could be crime, it could be horror. You know, it all sort of fits into how I do it.
But you read like detective novels and stuff. Like you were always reading like
I do now.
Reacher or Ian Rankin.
Yeah, but that wasn't, not 20 years ago, it wasn't probably.
Oh wow.
You know, maybe 15 years, 16 years.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Yeah. And then, you know, I'm trying to catch up now. I've not read any of that old stuff that you talk about all
the time. Oh, that's great. Well, I have a question for Brubaker now. It will be kind of a long one, but I'll get to the point. You see.
All right.
So what's the deal? Janaína is our editor and publisher, and she's obsessed by you guys' comics, and she's also a screenwriter. So we spend lots of hours talking about the script and etc. And I'll read part of a message she sent me one day, and I'll do my question based on it, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so here's a message. This is a WhatsApp message. She said, Brubaker is a fucking genius. He has total control of everything in his story and has the reader in his hands. I've just read the second volume of Cure Be Killed. Think with me. He ends the first one with a super solid story with the characters super defined. There's this conflict set, and Dylan needs to find new victims. Did he hallucinate or not, etc. And as a reader, you think the story will follow from there. Then he opens the next volume with the bathroom scene, a scene that puts the hero in a dead end, and you want to know how he will escape. But then he turns back and starts work. Brubaker turns back and starts to work a lot of the other important things. He introduces Daisy, the situation with Kyra, I never know how to pronounce it. But then he comes back to the same moment he began the volume with. And you end up really wanting to know what will happen. Damn, he didn't even have to create a new suspense. You're still electrified by the same one. He didn't move him from this corner, but at the same time, he did move. Then his stories advance a lot. He solves the bathroom dilemma in a very believable way. And now it's defined that Dylan has a bigger problem to worry about. It's no longer the kill or not to kill dilemma. He's already a killer. Now there's the cops and the Russians. And I'll read one more part. It just says, now you're thinking, oh God, he's fucking. Where's this going? And then he does a whole issue on Kyra. He needs to do it and he knows the time. He built everything for it. And it ends up with Kyra finding out about a fake medicine. Holy shit, he brought to the table everything he worked on volume 1 and got it together with the cop, the Russians. It's insane. Okay, this goes on and on and on. But the question I want.
Spoilers.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. But the question I want to make is, do you actually think about all this structure when you're writing this your stories, or you like to let the characters do their work before you get to know them? I mean, what's your process to write?
It's a little bit of both. I mean, I didn't realize until you were reading that how long I've been doing that flash forward and then get back to that moment thing, because we do that in every book now. Yeah, it's a little bit like I notebook a lot. I always have like a general idea of where the story's going and what the end will be, and I sort of have goalposts throughout the story, and then I let the characters sort of, you know, have a little bit of freedom within that. Like, so I don't know specifically when I'm writing chapter, like we're working on the Reckless books now, and I don't know when I'm writing chapter 3 every single thing that's going to happen in like chapter 5, but I have the gist of where the story's headed and what clues need to be dropped, or you know, things like that. When I was working on Kill or Be Killed with Sean, like it was really like I knew basically we were doing it in 4 arcs, and I knew the end of each arc because I wanted them all to be, you know, important, and like a big like oh shit moment that makes you want to come back and read the next arc. But I didn't know all the specifics about what would happen in each one. But yeah, I mean, it's a combination. It's like a little bit of a balancing act and a little bit of a net. Like I think of the notebook as sort of like the net in case something fucks up. But it's always, I feel like when I get halfway through any book, it's a little bit of like stress. Like, did I need to leave enough room for everything? You know, is everyone moving where they're supposed to go? And so it's a little bit of a battle, but a lot of it is gut instinct and relying on Sean to make pages and pages of people standing around talking look really good.
Although,
yeah,
more interesting for me to draw than any action stuff.
Well, great. So now I have a question for Sean. I mean, Sean, your art is really vivid in details, and I always get amazed by the ability you have to not only bring the characters to life, but also to input such a sense of atmosphere in every scene. And I think you always succeed in I mean, varying your between your style, but creating some variation from book to book. And I was wondering, how do you prepare for each work? I mean, what sets you in the mood for each story? What's your process?
Well, the first thing I always do is the logo, because that has to be done 6 months, before the book comes released, and that sort of especially with things like the Fade Out, which is a period book. That's sort of looking back at 1940s graphic design and try and get a feel of the sort of the world that they're going to be in. So that's always the first thing I do. But I don't do any planning otherwise. I read the first few pages of script and I draw them, and then I do the rest. I don't really. I never do character sketches before I draw any pages. I need to know what they're doing and what they're saying before I can figure out what they look like. I mean, Ed does give me some direction on physical aspects of them, but mostly it's just sort of I need to get them to act. I need to know what they're acting about.
Got it.
I feel like we both are kind of like that. Like we both, like I could never sit down and map out an entire book. I have to start writing it, and then oftentimes when I see your first pages come in, because Sean's really fast, so I'll send him a couple chapters, and then the next week I'll get pages from those chapters. And sometimes I see that and it inspires completely new directions for the story, like characters that I wasn't interested in. I'm like, oh, I like the way he draws that guy. I'm going to use that guy more, or, oh, I've got an idea for a book about that character,
Back and forth. So, before we end, I have to do it. It's almost a protocol question. I mean, I think fans will kill me if I don't. So, what are you guys working in right now, and what should we see from you guys for the future? I know you just finished. I'm a huge Reckless fan, I need to say, and I know you guys just finished a third book, right?
The third book's out in 2 days' time in the US, and we're 2/3 of the way through book 4 at the moment. I think I am.
Yeah, we're about 80 pages into the next one.
Yeah.
So.
Oh.
So yeah, we'll be doing 2 more Reckless books, and then we'll see. It's always up in the air, but probably we'll do like, something else for a little while, and then we'll come back to more Reckless or more Criminal or something like that.
Yeah, but I think the graphic novel format has definitely invigorated us and got us more interested again, hasn't it? Do you think, Ed?
Oh yeah. I mean, I was always interested, but I feel like it's gotten you more interested.
Well, it's just that a massive book just feels very daunting at the beginning.
Yeah.
Sit down for 6 months and draw it, but it's turned out to be much easier and more interesting than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
I love. And you have to write a story in a different way because you don't have a cliffhanger every 20 pages.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like it's given us a lot more room to sort of tell the story in a weird way, even though something like the Fade Out or Kill or Be Killed is longer. I feel like each page is sort of crammed with more information, and we're able to let things breathe a little bit more in the graphic novels.
Sure.
That's story wise and visually as well. I think we get a lot more. There seems to be a lot more space to draw backgrounds and an interest in dino or something like that.
Yeah.
Hard to research.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, you literally have more space on the page since the story is breathing, right? Yeah.
So I mean, we're going to carry on doing some more Reckless, and we'll carry on until one of us can't work anymore. We're not planning on going anywhere else, are we?
Yeah, I'm assuming it'll be me, even though I'm younger. But Sean's in better health. Sean still has his hair, and it's not even gray. It's disgusting. Like just since the pandemic started, my beard and the sides of my face have gone completely white. I have like, when my hair grows in, I have gray around my temples now, like Reed Richards.
Well, has an age of like 10 years.
Someone else will finally get to work with Sean when I die.
Yep. Okay, but I'll be too sad to work. But seriously, I think what I'd like to do in going ahead after the next couple of Reckless books is we'll still do 2 books a year, but one will be Reckless and one will be something else. I think that'd be a nice way. And I did like doing the Junkies book and Pulp that was shorter, just because Some stories don't need to be that long, and also some subjects don't interest me for that amount of time. You know, I wanted to do a cowboy pulp, but if it had been 200 pages of cowboys, then maybe I would have not wanted to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I have an idea for a sequel to The Fade Out that I want to get to at some point soon.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, we've been talking about that for 10 years nearly.
Yeah, since the last one. I know. I just I finally got most of it figured out.
No, we need well, you know, I've got, my son does comics now, so eventually he can just mimic me well enough to just do every other page.
Yeah, he's actually a great artist. I've been following his work.
Yeah, good, yeah. And he does great color work for our books as well, of course.
Yeah.
Oh, his colors are amazing.
We've hopefully got him on a lifetime contract, so he can't quit.
Yeah.
No more colorists.
Well, I think to finish, I just need to thank you guys again, and I think if you guys want to send some message for the Brazilian readers, I mean, they are finally getting to read your stuff.
You first, Ed.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks. I'm really glad to be out in that audience. You know, Sean and I have both been to Portugal a number of times, so I know a tiny amount of Portuguese, which I'm sure sounds different in Brazilian. Huh?
You're not going to say it now, are you?
No. Just enough to order coffee and make sure the taxi takes me to the airport, and that I'm not getting on the wrong train. No, I'm really glad to be there. You guys have been doing an amazing job. I saw, you know, when you announced Pulp, it was the #1 thing on Brazilian Amazon entirely, which I think that's the first time we've ever been #1 anywhere.
All the books you guys have been publishing here got to the #1 top.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, how big is your market?
Well, not as big as I wish it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd just like to say, the same thing. You know, it's great that our stuff gets everywhere, you know, and especially that you can read it in your native language as well, rather than having to struggle through an English language version. You know, that's really cool.
Yeah, well, I hope to see you guys in Brazil soon. I think everybody wants you.
In Brazil?
Yeah.
Well, let's see how your next election goes.
Yeah. I don't blame you. I would wait too.
I mean, I want to see how my next election goes.
Yeah, mine too, yeah.
I'm hoping we do have a next election in Brazil. So fingers crossed.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having us here.
Well, thank you guys. It was amazing.